Hello everybody and welcome to today's video, Final Tips for AQA English Language Paper 2. The first thing to talk about then is Paper 2 Question 1. Yes, it's a 4-mark question asking you to identify 4 statements which are true, but it is a harder question than Paper 1 Question 1 because not all of the points will be explicit, obvious, easy to find points. You will be required to interpret implicit ideas in this question, which means reading between the lines. This is a skill that you have to develop. You're going to need it again, that skill of inference in question 2, so make sure you spend a bit of time watching my videos on these questions to see what I mean. Question 2 is a summary question. It could ask you to summarize the differences, the similarities, or details about a certain topic. Whatever it asks you to do, the key skill is inference. Basically, given that this is the difference, what does this lead me to realize about what I've been asked to focus on? So do you remember that sample paper with Jay Rayner and Henry, the boy at boarding school? And the question was, summarize the differences between Eddie and Henry. Well, Eddie jokes with his dad. He has a lot of banter with his dad. And Henry has a very formal communication throughout. That's a difference. But the inference would be, given that this is the difference, what does this lead me to realize about what I've been asked to focus on? And that's where you would say, well, Eddie has a close and warm relationship with his father, where he feels that he is able to have that humorous interaction with him, whereas Henry has a more distant relationship with his father. Question 3 is the language analysis question. There was a language analysis question in paper 1 as well, and the mark scheme is essentially the same. Language is classed as words, phrases, language features, techniques, and sentence forms. And like the November 2018 paper 1, you might not have the opportunity to write about all of those, but those are the things you should be looking out for when you read through the lines in question, again for question 3. Now, language analysis is not just about feature spotting. It's about writing about the effect in a manner which is precise and contextualized. And one of the ways to do that is to ask yourself, what is the specific effect the writer's trying to achieve, and how do they achieve it? Through using words, phrases, language features, techniques, and sentence forms. Question 4 is the comparison of writers' viewpoints. One thing to point out, this question is about the viewpoints of the writers, not the viewpoints of the characters or the people in the text themselves. There's always a mistake made there. And one of the things to point out here is that success in this question is about the second bullet point, the methods used by the writers. We actually learned that a level 1 or 2 answer is where a student can identify what are the attitudes. A level 3 is what methods are used to present the attitudes, and a level 4, analysis of why those methods are used. And what do we mean by that second bullet point, methods? Well, if we look at the mark schemes we've had for the past papers, we're talking about the form, tone, contemporary references, words, phrases, irony, enthusiastic language, vivid description, hyperbole, and the list goes on. Essentially, it's this. If it is a method the writer's using to present the viewpoint that you're answering the question on, then you can write about it. That is not an exhaustive list. You can write about any method the writer is using. Question 5 then is the writing question. You are asked to present your own viewpoint on a certain topic. AQA have announced the form they'll be asking students to write in, and the form is an article. Now, AQA previously released a document detailing the features of forms they would typically expect students to use in the exam. And in that document, they listed things you should include as a minimum, and then more detailed or developed things you could include. For an article, here's what you should include: a simple title, paragraphs. Now, here's what you could include: a title, a strapline, subheadings, an overview paragraph. Let's look at an example taken from Mr. Bruff's Guide to GCSE English Language. This article is about how young people are not to blame for creating pollution. First up, we have a headline, which hints at the topic, often using alliteration. The idea here is you take a quick look at the title and work out if it might be something you're interested in reading more about. A strapline. A strapline should summarize the whole article in 1 or 2 sentences. At the very least, we want to know who, what, when, and why. Now, this can seem a bit counterintuitive, almost a spoiler, giving everything away. But again, the point is understanding the form of the article. The writer needs to briefly summarize the story so the reader, drawn in by the headline, can make a decision about whether to read on. Subheadings. A subheading summarizes the next section. You can see I've used a number of them here. An overview paragraph. This paragraph references the quotation in the question and firmly states your point of view.
So that's what we expect to find in an article. At a minimum, a title and writing in paragraphs. More in depth, everything in this list on the right.
And there are 16 marks awarded for technical accuracy, so you should plan your answer and check it at the end for all of the technical writing skills.
If you found this video useful, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel.